So that way they're not dependent on Iran for anything. Okay. Also, Iran controls the shipping lane right now. They have anyway, there's two shipping lanes that they control. Saudi Arabia was to let us go and use the air base from there to attack them when they were killing all the protesters. Then they would shut off those two shipping lanes. And Saudi Arabia and Qatar would not be able to ship their oil. So that's the real reason that Trump called it off at the very last minute. Now, Saudi Arabia, China, and Iran all have a deal together too, I think, for gas and oil. Okay. So it's kind of complicated. So China and Russia were both buying oil from Venezuela. China was taking the oil back to China and refining it because Maduro and Chavez let the refineries go to hell that we built over there in Venezuela. So China was refining the oil and then shipping part of it back as fuel back to Venezuela and oil. And then Venezuela was keeping some of it and shipping it to Cuba, keeping Cuba afloat. Okay, do you understand? Okay, so Russia was buying the oil and refining the oil, so that was keeping the war going in Ukraine. China is keeping their war going on us, which I'm going to get into more because it's really, really bad what's going on. China is a huge, huge problem. And oh boy, do we need Greenland. Plus, they're trying to infiltrate us through Canada. That piece of crap prime minister went to China and said it's a new world order, and he's making a deal with Canada. Alberta just had a vote. I'm not sure how it came out, but I think it probably will pass that they're going to become the 51st state. They are seceding. They do not want any part of that communist world global order regime that's currently there. So we got a lot going on. Plus, Britain is just falling. They've given away Diego Garcia Air Base. Oh boy, are we in trouble? And we need Greenland, because if you look at a map from the North Pole and look down, Greenland, and then there's Canada, and then there's us. If we don't have Greenland, that whole Arctic region is completely open for invasion, and China is trying to overthrow us. And they are doing it in a whole bunch of really messed up ways. Oh my God. So now we have a little bit of the deal behind the Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Iran, Russia, and China and what they're doing. Okay. They're all coming into alliance, which now here comes Israel. All right. So what Trump has done is done the peace deal with Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Israel, right? And Iraq and Syria. Okay. This is what Saudi Arabia and Israel are trying to do. So Israel has the gas, right? Has the gas. Okay. So they're trying to make a pipeline from Israel to Saudi Arabia. So that way they have a partnership, and Saudi Arabia will be reliant on Israel, and that will keep Iran and Qatar at bay from attacking them, because they need Israel as long as they're need. So they're going to be moving away from the West, which is us protecting them all the time, Israel and Qatar and all of that. And they're forming their own alliance over there. But Iran doesn't know that that's going on behind Iran's back with Israel. But as soon as Israel and Saudi Arabia get this pipeline going between those two, okay, they'll have a mutual. Saudi Arabia will be dependent on Israel for the materials coming through the pipeline. Then they won't be relying on Iran anymore. Then if the regime gets overthrown, it doesn't matter, okay, because the proxies aren't going to attack Saudi Arabia because they'll have Israel to protect them. Do you understand what I'm saying? So they're moving away from us. They're forming their own alliance, excluding Iran and Russia and China out of it, which right now they're kind of are doing deals with them, which they shouldn't be. So that's kind of a double-edged sword, pretty much. The Middle East has always been very iffy. We don't even want anything to do with them. That's why they're getting their own thing together, and that way we can move away from them. We don't have to take care of Israel anymore, because they'll be making their own money through their pipeline. We won't have to protect Qatar and Saudi Arabia anymore, because they'll have Israel. Okay, then the Ayatollah can be just, oh, he's such a piece of shit, that guy. I'm sorry for cussing, but we could get rid of his ass. The whole world would be a better place without that murderous scumbag on it. All right, so do we have it down a little bit on the alliance there? Now, this is why Venezuela and Greenland are so important. China was moving in and putting infrastructure in the Panama Canal, which we got them out. Then they were in Venezuela putting infrastructure in, which we have to get them out because we got Hezbollah over there too. It was just like the stomping grounds of all of our enemies. We've got Russia, which is wanting to keep the war going. So we're trying to choke them out. And we've sanctioned India because India was buying Russian oil too. So it was keeping the war in Ukraine going. And the only way that that war is going to stop is if we choke Putin off monetarily. Okay. Because there's no way to beat him any other way. All right. Took another Russian tanker, oil tanker. We found it was running rogue for about 2 weeks. It was trying to evade detection and capture, but we found it. We got it. This is the third one. And this is Russia's. I don't think they have any more ghost tankers. So they were sneaking the oil from Venezuela, refining it, blase, blase, as I said before. So without Venezuelan oil, Russia won't have any avenue to keep the war going in Ukraine because they can't sell. India was buying the oil from Russia. All right. Well, we just put tariffs on India and told them, you can't buy oil from Russia. So Russia is not going to have any oil to sell. India is not going to buy any oil. Iran is choked off. They're not getting any oil. And it's the only way that regime will fall. The only way the war will end is to choke out Putin. And it all really comes down to oil. It comes down to basic oil. And with China has a playbook. Anyway, his book is, oh my God, China has a plan. They are having anchor babies here, and they're taking those babies back to China. They're raising it in China universities, China communist ways, and then they're having them vote in our elections. Yeah, this is really bad. Hundreds of thousands and thousands of them are doing this. They don't even live here. Then you're having Communist Party, actual party members or residency here. They're not living here. They're in China, but they're voting in our elections. This is a huge problem. So they've decided also that they're going to infiltrate us with the fentanyl, economically, militarily, in our educational system, in our universities, in all of our science programs. They said they're going to infiltrate everything and try to wipe us off the map. This is really scary. This is really, really scary. So we have our work cut out. It is the EU, that global domination shit that those Klaus Schwab and those disgusting, horrible, scary people want. And that's not going to happen. We are independent and sovereign, and we will remain so forever. And then we have China, who wants to destroy us. And I mean all of us. Doesn't matter if you're Democrat, independent, or Republican. Doesn't matter if you're black or white. It doesn't matter. They want to take all of us down. They want every single person that lives in this country dead. So you guys need to wake up and realize that the commies are not your friend. The scuzzlums are not your friend. Get that through your head, people. Why are you protesting for people that want to kill you and have been robbing your future and your children's future, your grandchildren's future, blind? They are laughing at all of you Democrats that are out there blocking cars. They think you're the stupidest puppets in the world. I wish you guys would stop it. It's so embarrassing. So I wanted to give you this update on the trajectory of what we are doing in Venezuela, with China, with Russia, with Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Iran, and Israel, and why we're doing it, and why we need Greenland, and why Venezuela had to be taken care of as well. We have got to protect. Oh, and Cuba's going down too. We're choking them off with oil as well. They are not getting any fuel. So that dictator will soon be overturned as well. Maybe we will have a free Western Hemisphere of free sovereign nations. Won't that be wonderful? Won't that be just wonderful? And we've got to put these commies down, man. These commies and these Klaus Schwab type, they've got to be eliminated. We can't have them. We're a sovereign nation and we're going to remain so. We're not going to join some global order where some mystery people tell us how to. No, we're not serfs. We're not slaves, and we never will be. Sorry. It's the American way. So, anyway, like and subscribe. I hope that I gave a little bit of clarity on the situation, on what's really happening, and why we need Greenland so bad. Okay, and why the attack on Iran was stopped abruptly. And now you have a little more insight into that. And thank you for coming to see me at God, Guns, and Dogs. And I will see you on the next video. But remember, whatever life throws at you, you still have potential. God bless you. Of course, God bless America.